Everybody, it is your boy Trev. It's my absolute pleasure to bring to you today, for the first time on video on my channel, Mr. LLL69. We know him, we love him, but from now on, he is going to be known as...
Oh yeah, that's my actual name, guys. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, we know you. We're not just meeting you. Mr. Puya, it's going to take me a while to get used to that. We've been talking about this for a while. You told me, I remember a while ago, you told me, hey, DJ, I'm thinking about showing my face. And I want to do it with you on your channel. And I've been waiting for this day. Because just for everybody's, I've seen him before. We've had video chats before in the past, but this is the first time that you all get the pleasure of seeing this man the way some of us have been seeing him. LL, why now? Why was now the time to go ahead and do this?
Well, to be honest, it was not actually planned to do it this fast. The intention was to launch the protocol, be on the safe side, be trading on weeks on a partner exchange, and then, yeah, basically docs when everything is ready and safe. But to be honest, we had some actually fortunate things that happened for us that made us realize that probably it's a good time to docs. So we're going to attend at the Berlin Blockchain Week. My co-founder Till, you guys know him as Frag, he's going to join me as speaker on the panel. I'll be there too. And the reason why we didn't announce it is that I'm actually not doxed, and to be speaking on a public public meeting, you basically need to dox and show your face and let people know who you are. So that's why we did things a little bit faster than anticipated.
So you were going to do
but I'm happy to do it. I had some concerns, but glad to be with you and do it on your channel. That's actually an honor.
I'm very honored. I really am honored that that you chose this venue to do this. And you're a man of your word. You told me a long time ago that this is the way it was going to go down. And I understand that your hand was forced a little bit because going to this event, it was going to happen anyway. So I really appreciate it. I want to talk about that event a little bit, but I want to ask you, because this was kind of pushed on you a little bit and you're having to do it maybe a little earlier and sooner than you thought. Do you feel at all like, okay, it's over, it's done with now, it's like a weight off your shoulder kind of thing? Or are you like, how are you feeling?
Okay, to be quite honest with you, I'm still nervous about it. I don't even know why, because we're doing nothing nefarious, nothing shady. Everything is legally sound. We did everything to the best of our knowledge, to the best way possible, safest way possible. But still, I'm just, it's probably my character. I'm always cautious, and I just don't feel like I should, it's necessary to show the face and stuff. At least I felt like this in the beginning. Now I realized how far we got, how serious the project became, and how big it actually is. And if we want to go for the next step and actually attract people outside of our little Terra Classic bubble, then it's necessary to show our faces and show people that we're serious, that we put our money in, our effort, everything basically into the project, and that it's worth investing in us as a team, not only in me.
Absolutely. Obviously. Just the quickest little story as far as you being cautious. LL is probably one of the first people that I met on the Terra Rebels when this whole thing started with Terra Classic and the rebuilding of it. He reached out to me and we became fast friends. We spent an awful lot of time on the phone together. And I remember very, very early on you telling me, hey, listen, next time we get on the phone, let's do a video chat. I'm going to show you my face. That was almost 3 years ago. And the first time I saw his face was actually after Juris was already launched. So he intended on doing it, but he put it off. And I understand about the caution. I really do get it. But I also understand exactly what you're saying. we've been telling everyone that Juris Protocol is a serious project, what it's going to do for them. And in order to really move to that next step and to attract the kind of users and the kind of investors that this project can attract, they're going to want to see and they're going to want to know who it is that they're doing business with. So it really does show the dedication to me and to all of us that you have to this project to go ahead and step outside of your comfort zone, put yourself out there, show your face, give your name. You're not doing anything wrong. We all love you for it. So I just really want to applaud the effort and thank you for having that trust in us all.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so let's talk about this summit. First off, how did you hear about it?
Okay, so to be quite honest with you, it was brought to my attention. Honestly, it was brought to my attention by a team member, by my Juris management lady, Mama of Juris, which is K-Rocks, Keely, I
Okay.
think is her
Yep.
name. You
Yep.
all know her. She's admin of the Terra Classic Validator Discord, of the official community Discord, or it's not official, it's unofficial. The unofficial Old Terra Rebel Discord. She's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes for Terra Classic, for the chain. And on her free time, she's the team manager of Juris, actually. So she's managing the team and the daily business, the tasks. She's keeping me free to focus on the vision and the lead of the team, so to speak, to take the project forward. So she's the one who told me, hey, look, there is the summit and you guys should go. And the next thing I answered to her is, I applied and we got a speaker slot already. So
That's
it was
awesome.
pretty spontaneous.
K-Rock is absolutely invaluable, and we appreciate everything that she does. She really just holds it all together, and yeah, that's a great thing. So now there was a meeting recently, I'm sorry, between you and Till. Um, the first time you guys actually met face to face, and you're both in Germany. Was that kind of pushed forward also because of the summit, or was it something you had planned?
His meeting with Frag was actually over Till. Now I keep calling him Till
I mean, we've
since we
known him.
doxed each
Honestly,
other.
some of us have known him as Till since Terra Rebels. So I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, some people were surprised to see his face and stuff, and I'm like, he has been doxxed for 3 years.
Oh
His
yeah,
LinkedIn is
yeah.
public. Everything is actually. So yeah, it was pretty nice to meet him. It was not surprising to me because we had lots of talks, and to me, he felt already like I don't know, like we know each other because we actually do, but we never met in person. So it was a different kind of experience, and I think it was in particular nice because it was not only me and him; it was also a good friend of mine who's here in the studio, and he prepared the set with me. He helped me a lot. Actually, connected us to the videographer guy who's also doing the shootings and everything, helping me out. Became a good friend, and we had a good time together, the four of us. And I think we're going to meet again in this constellation in Berlin. So looking forward to that as well.
That's great. That's awesome. We also have a few, or maybe at least a couple other people from the Terra Classic family who will also be there as well, right? I understand Vegas, I'm assuming, is flying in because he doesn't live in Germany, right? So he's flying in for this to talk about Selenium. Our good friend that I met when he was on the L1 task force, Jacob Gadikian, will also be there. And he's a big Cosmos guy anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like a rock star.
Yeah.
He's known for his development, for his opinions, sometimes
Yeah.
controversial. And I think
He's a
the
bit
truck
infamous, that's
story
for
is what made
sure.
him. I'm sorry.
I said he's a little infamous, that's for sure.
Yeah, and his truck story made him super famous in the internet, I guess. So looking forward to meet him. He seems to be quite a nice guy and fun. And I think he has a lot of respect for Till, to be honest. So it will be fun to see them in person meeting and actually see what he has to say about Juris. I'm curious to see what other people have to say. Not only Jacob, like we connected to some very interesting people from other projects already through the Telegram group of the summit. So I'm looking forward to meet all of those guys
Yeah,
and
we talk
present
a
Juris
lot.
and Terra Classic, because I don't know. I think some of them still think Terra Classic is kind of dead and it's like this zombie chain where nothing is going on. But we're building Juris on it. There's Selenium. There's other projects, and we're going nowhere. As you can see, we're showing our face to the public. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to the summit.
I was going to say we do talk a lot about, one day, we become we become internet friends, as much as you can possibly become friends uh on X or in Telegram or whatever. But we all do talk a lot about, hey, we all got to meet up sometime. And you guys are actually doing that, and I'm a bit envious of it. You're going to get to meet each other in face to face. I mean, it's awesome. It really, really is a good thing. Uh the family is really coming together in a special way. So I can't wait for that to happen. I hope that you guys take pictures together and share all that with us. Okay, what
Oh,
do you
TJ,
know?
just so you're aware, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, no, go
For
ahead.
the audience, we're not going to take pictures. We're going to take our photographer guy with us for the whole trip. So we don't have to take pictures. We have somebody who's taking pictures of us.
Okay, however you take the pictures, we want to see them. So if they're
With all of
professional,
them.
that's even better.
After we just for the community so that they know, like after we record the meeting, we're going to start to push all of the content out on our socials,
Yep.
docs content, professional photo shooting content, video shooting, stuff like this. The marketing of Juris is totally going to change in the future.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the marketing a little bit too, but I had a couple questions about this summit, and I don't know if you even know
Sure,
yet.
sure.
Do you know, as far as the format, what is the format like? Are you able to put on a presentation, or is someone asking you questions? What is it going to be?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. So I know that there is like speaker slots for bigger talks, presentations, kind of.
Mhm.
That's what I applied for with Juris, but I was told that because there are already some slots taken, could be that we have to speak on a panel with different speakers. Now, I don't know the exact format, like whether it's going to be a talk between like us and some participants, other projects or founders. I don't know. But I could imagine that maybe they put, for example, Vegas and us on one stage, maybe with two, three others, and then we talk about our things. But I really can't tell you. I don't know.
You'll have a time slot. So you'll have to basically deliver your message within a certain amount of time. Have you and Frag started talking about, what the important things are that you want to make sure you present? Like what are you really looking forward to letting everyone know about Juris?
We didn't talk about it yet in depth because I got to know. I was told 2 days ago that the summit is going to happen. Yesterday, I arranged everything, booked hotels, hotel rooms, booked tickets to go there, like arranged everything. And I don't know the format yet. And until we know the format, it's a little bit hard to know what we're going to talk about. But obviously, we want to represent Juris. We want to represent Luna Classic community. Um, I don't want to use the spotlight, so to say, just for Juris. If possible, we want to represent the whole community together with Vegas, obviously, and others. If there are others from Terra Classic, obviously together with them. But yeah, I guess that's the main focus: representing Juris, making people aware of Juris, that there is actually something being built on Terra Classic, and make the Cosmos people and other people on the blockchain week as well, like from other chains, just make them aware that people are still building on Terra Classic, that there is stuff going on. People are dedicated and putting money into the projects, and they're going nowhere. So it's better for them to hopefully support us in future and put some money on the chain and on the projects.
I would imagine that most of the people there are going to be very familiar with Anchor and with Mirror. Um, and I would hope that they're pleasantly surprised, not only that Terra Classic is alive and kicking and thriving and people are building, but Uh, from what I heard, those two protocols, um, they were in, they worked and they were successful independent of each other, but they also worked together very, very well. And so creating that formula again on Terra Classic, basically where it belongs anyway, right? I got to imagine is going to be surprising and hopefully pleasantly surprising to a lot of people, don't you?
Well, I mean, that's the whole reason why we did Juris, why we started building the lending protocol. Um, because I mean, Anchor left a $10 billion legacy for anybody who feels ready to rebuild it. Actually, it's still there. Lending protocols are in big demand. There is always demand for lending, for credit. And I think, yeah, I think you're right. Everybody knows Anchor. Like whoever you tell, at least in the crypto bubble, obviously, like outside people, they don't know what Anchor is, but within crypto, everybody knows. Everyone heard of Luna. And if they didn't exactly know that Luna and the stablecoin USDC existed, at least they know that there was this big crash and somehow Anchor was involved. So either way, you know, positive or negative, everybody heard about Anchor. So it's a big chance for us to actually attract people back to our chain if we rebuild it in a more professional and safer way, so that it doesn't hopefully blow up anytime soon or at all.
Do you feel like it's a like it's a burden or possibly a hurdle that's kind of hard to get over to explain to people that you're rebuilding Anchor, knowing that, yeah, some people do kind of connect, and even though it really had nothing to do with it, but some people do connect Anchor with Terra Luna and a crash. And when you say you're rebuilding it, do you feel like that's going to be a hurdle to get over to explain to them why this one won't be a problem?
Um, no, actually not. I think it's a matter of communicating it to the people in the right way. So people need to understand that Anchor is just a lending protocol. Anchor itself, in our opinion, at Juris, was unsustainable the way it was built because it was giving people 20% uh, fixed yield interest rate on their dollar deposits, actually stablecoin deposits, USDC deposits, while the interest rate environment was basically zero. I think Europe even had negative interest rates at that time. America, I think, had zero or zero-ish. And Anchor was giving 20% fixed. So that was not sustainable. And they had to my knowledge, they had to fill it up, like the reward pool with marketing budget, you know, somebody was filling it up. And it was used to attack the chain. Like the USDC attack that happened was, Anchor was also used, but Anchor was not the main cause, and Anchor itself was not the reason why USDC depegged. So the stablecoin protocol itself is not really like the main vulnerability of the chain. It was the stablecoin design. It was the algo stable that was not really backed by anything. And the only thing that was backing it was actually the demand of USDC. It was caused by Anchor's 20% interest rate. So by us saying we have a dynamic interest rate that is based on market demand, we don't really have this sort of risk, and we're not fueling any kind of Ponzi or anything. And the second thing is we're using USDC, the Circle stablecoin, which is like, I think, the most institutional grade one at the moment, at least, and probably the most secure one, I would assume. Widely being used, and I think the only one really accepted in Europe right now that fits like into MiCA regulation. So we don't have this issue. You know, we're not trying to back a algo stable coin using this protocol. What we are trying to do is to give Terra Classic a new use case, a reason for people to use Terra Classic, a reason for people to bridge over their native assets from other chains, BNB, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You know, we want to see that stuff being moved on Terra Classic and locked into our protocol so people can generate yield on it and the chain starts to prosper. Second reason or second thing we want to do with Juris is to Actually start a stablecoin renaissance on Terra Classic. So basically, we don't have a native stablecoin right now. Circle USDC is not a native stablecoin, but at least it's a widely adopted one that we can bridge over, and we can start having stablecoin economy back on our chain. We can have high volume, high TVL, and it will naturally attract new people and users. When you can earn yield that is sustainable on your USDC deposits, then naturally people would like to bridge their assets over to Terra Classic and use the chain, which in fact will hopefully fuel the community pool, Oracle pool, and kind of revive the Terra Classic economy. That's the idea.
Yeah, you're getting into a lot of things that I definitely want to move toward. As a matter of fact, I did get some questions from the community, and I'm going to get to those. And some of those really kind of dive into what you're talking about. So maybe we'll get a little bit more into that. But just to kind of stay on track, we were talking about marketing, and I can see the bit of marketing behind you. I've got a little bit of marketing behind me. Going to this summit is probably, I mean, are you looking at that as really kicking off the major marketing this summit? Is that like the first step in really going full steam with marketing now?
Yes, no, I would say our recording is basically the kickoff.
Okay.
That's the actual kickoff.
Well, for that matter, we've done a bunch of recordings. I just didn't see your face. That's beautiful. But I just kind of want to highlight some things that you've already said because you're going to the summit. At this point, you have a photographer and a videographer that is traveling around with you, right? Um, you know, this is all about pushing Juris protocol. It's all about getting it basically out to the masses, and letting people because yeah, everybody in Terra Classic, if you're paying attention, you know what Juris protocol is. But the idea is not only to bring people from outside of Terra Classic to Juris protocol, but the larger idea is to bring them to Terra Classic via Juris protocol. So what other ideas have you guys come up with as far as the marketing and how to actually reach out outside of Terra Classic and attract those big money investors who we all want to see here at this project?
What we're going to do is we're going to connect with people outside of Terra Classic using my personal network in Germany, which is growing as we speak. We're going to use events like public events like the Berlin Blockchain Week. Naturally, at the beginning, we want to focus on events that are closer to us so that we can attend with a couple people and not just one guy from Juris flying over, right? We want to go always with 3, 4 guys, including our camera guy. And I think the best strategy is to meet up in real events with people actually and meet
Right. I agree.
face to face. So that's what we want to focus on. I like the internet marketing stuff; it's great, but I saved the Juris budget for actual marketing in real life, and that's what I want to spend.
I,
That's the
I agree
strategy
with
for
you. I
now.
think that's the way to go. Shake hands, hand out cards, talk to people. A lot of people who are watching this video already know that I've got a Juris Protocol t-shirt that I made. I've got a Juris Protocol uh, hoodie. And yeah, it has my face on there too. I had to advertise me a little bit. But every time I wear these things and I go out, people ask me, well, first they say, hey, is that you on your why do you have a picture of you on your sweatshirt? And then, but they'll ask about what is Juris Protocol? What is Terra Classic? And it gives me an opportunity to actually just talk to people and tell them this is what it is, this is what we're doing. It's this, it's that. And they, oh, wow, that's really cool. Um, and so when you go out and you actually shake hands and you look someone in the eye and you tell them what it is, you tell them what you're doing, it's not nameless to them. It's not faceless to them. It's not just another thing. It's like I know that guy. I actually know that guy who's building this thing. I talked to him. And so it's a great idea. What it is that you plan on doing. I will always encourage you to smile and to be happy and to make sure that, I know I tease you a lot about your voice being very monotone and you not seeming happy, but I think you're getting happy. I think you're getting really, really happy, and I'm loving seeing it. I really am. Uh, Before I move on to some questions that were asked by the community, I mean, do you want to respond to that at all?
Yeah, I actually forgot one part. You mentioned it. We actually have some designs for hoodies, for mugs, for like coffee mugs, for
Merch.
I think other clothing, merch in general. And I'm actually trying to figure out how to actually make some sort of online shop, something where we don't really earn a lot. Like I'm not a fashion designer. I don't want to make money on selling you guys clothing, but would be nice if we had a merch shop and people could buy that stuff. And I want to wear my own hoodies as well. Like I'm
Yeah,
proud of
absolutely.
Juris. I want to wear it everywhere. Probably with some sort of QR code at the other side at the back. So if people ask, "Hey, what's Juris?" You're like, scan my back, and and go buy some. Obviously.
I actually considered, when I knew that we were going to do this video, I pulled out my sweatshirt, pulled out my hoodie, and I was considering wearing that because, obviously it has the Juris across it. It also has the DJ Trev on it. Um, but I knew what you were wearing. I knew how you were going to look. And I said, I am not coming looking like a hood when I got this GQ son of a bitch over here looking fly as hell. I got to come correct. So, yeah, but
I'm actually
maybe in the
surprised that you dressed up like we weren't expecting it. My video guy, he was asking me like, "Hey, what is DJ going to wear and how is his set going to look?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. Let's
All
get
right, so if
surprised."
can I let you all in on a little secret? Maybe this will go
Yeah,
on
of
the
course.
blooper reel. I got on my suit jacket and my chains blinging. I'm doing all right, but I'm also rocking my pajamas. I
Awesome.
just got home from work. I'm comfortable. Anyway, I don't. That was fun. All right, I want to, if I could, ask you a few questions that actually came to me, um, through the community and actually via K Rock. I mean, she was really, really helpful when I wanted to be able to, because usually we do these things live and people can get up in the chat and they can ask questions, but we're not doing it that way. So she, poked around and reached out to a few key people in the community and asked you, hey, if you and she was very vague about it. Nobody knows what's going on, but said, hey, if you could ask a question about Juris protocol, what would that be? And so I have a few questions here that I'm going to run through, and I'll let you just kind of answer them, and we'll see where it goes. Um, all right. So one of them was considering the historical difficulties with Terra Classic, which some might argue about, but whatever. What architectural and security measures are in place with Juris to protect investors and users that are using, users of the protocol? I don't need to. You can go ahead and answer that. I think you understand the question, right?
Yeah. So security aspect of the protocol and the project in general, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, okay, so from the very start, when we launched Juris, we tried to do everything as safe as possible, starting with burning the token contract or actually revoking the admin. I think that's the technical term, so that nobody can tinker with the token contract. Balances can't be changed, stuff like this. That's pretty basic. We burned the initial liquidity from the pool so that it can't be tampered with. So the initial liquidity, I think it's half of the current liquidity that will always stay in the main Terraport pool. Then we have early on found an auditing partner, which is Solid Proof. It's a reputable German company. They did token audit for us already. We got a very good score. I think it's 100%, 98%, something like this. No major flaws or even small ones found, to my knowledge. Then we have KYB, the business, the Juris development company. also by solid proof. They looked at the bank accounts, the company foundation, legal documents, made sure that the company exists, that I'm the real owner. All of that stuff, I had to give them all my details, personal name, ID, everything. And my business is located in the Netherlands, so it's not some offshore location where you can never go to. It's actually here in Europe. It's real, and if I do anything wrong, people can go to the Dutch court and sue my company.
Okay.
And then I guess we have things that are just normal. Like before we launch the protocol, we're going to run the whole testnet setup or the testnet contracts that are in the testnet already will be audited by solid proof, and we will not go into mainnet before everything is secure and tested as well. Like we do tests while it's being audited, and then at some point we're going to put everything together into mainnet. But only if we get the okay from solid proof. And if they say, guys, you need to fix stuff and it takes 1 month longer, then so be it, because we came so far doing things right, and we don't want to rush stuff at launch and make a miserable experience. We want to make everybody happy.
Yeah, I just, just point of clarification for everybody. When Puya says that Solid Proof is a partner, that doesn't mean that they do audits and they do all these things. That doesn't mean that they're working with or working for Juris Protocol. In other words, their audits might be tainted in the favor or whatever. That's not what that means. What that means is that we have access to them so that all of these things that need to be done to make sure that the security aspect of everything is right for everybody, we don't have to go chasing them around. They know that they're doing this, that they are going to be the official auditing company for Juris Protocol. But if there's something wrong, you can rest assured they're going to let you know about it and everybody know about it, because they are an established business and they have a reputation to uphold themselves. So you can be very, very secure in the knowledge that things are actually being done correctly. And there's a very, very strong, well-known, successful auditing company that has got their finger on everything that's going on here.
Yes,
So,
we have no influence over their auditing process. We have no influence on their results. If you're right, if I say partner, it only means that they are basically our dedicated auditing contractors, so to say, and we have good relationship to them in personal, because they're German, we're German, so we can speak, like, same language. So in that sense, they're partners, but they're not. We can tell them anything. Like if the result is bad, then we have to fix it. There is no way around it.
absolutely. Okay. So another question had to do with collateral types and interest rate models. Can you tell us how those kind of things are going to work with Juris Protocol?
So collateral types of jurors, we are going to have right at the beginning when we start, we're going to have collateral being coins of major L1 chains, and probably we start with Luna Classic blockchain. So the main collateral is going to be LUNC, and possibly 1 or 2 more L1 coins. It will a little bit depend on the timing of the mainnet launch and the funding and the actual Terra Classic community, because liquidity is expensive, as you know, and it has to be kickstarted by somebody. Like if you launch the protocol and have empty, I could say right now we launch with 30 collateral types and lending, borrowing, but you need to fill the pools. It's better to have a small range of pools that have sufficient liquidity so that the lending and borrowing can kick off, so to say. So we will probably focus on major costs close to Cosmos, or how should we say this, Cosmos chains, like assets from sister chains, so to say. And we will start with that sort of collateral. Also, I'm a big fan of how do you say this, conservative collateral types that are stable, stable-ish. For example, something like Bitcoin or even Pax Gold. Paxos Gold, I think it's called in English. So I would aim for that sort of collateral. Maybe Ethereum, BNB, Solana, maybe Atom, and LUNC, I guess, for the beginning. We could also go for osmosis. That's also a big chain. But it all depends on the funding and where we are when we actually launch in testnet.
And so just for kind of us, non-technical people that still trying to figure out some of how this works. What actually is Juris token? What actually is the function of Juris token within Juris protocol? Juris token isn't going to be traded or rather, I'm sorry, isn't going to be borrowed or lended or whatever. But what is the function of that within the protocol?
Juris token itself, the main purpose is being the governance token of the protocol. So even though in future you probably can lend it out and borrow it, maybe in future even use it as collateral, but not in the beginning, because collateral assets should be not so volatile, and Juris is pretty volatile right now, which is good for traders, but not so good if you have it as collateral for your borrowing position, I guess.
Right.
So Juris' main purpose is to be used as the governance token of the protocol. Now, what is a governance token? Governance token is something that allows you to stake the token within the protocol's governance. That's where the decisions happen for the protocol. So there's voting going on. And by staking your Juris, you get voting rights. You, depending on your voting power, like how many tokens you're going to stake, you get a certain voting power, let's say, for example, 2%. And you can take part in governance proposals in voting by using your voting power. So you can shape the future of the protocol just by staking a Juris. And as a bonus, we distribute 50% of the protocol's revenue to the Juris stakers. So you also get staking rewards from protocol, from revenue that is generated by the protocol. And that revenue is going to be distributed to stakers. So that's the two main purposes: why people should hold Juris, why people should try to buy it cheap, and why they shouldn't sell it unless they're trading it. Otherwise, I would just stake it and aim for the rewards. No financial advice, just what I would do.
Yeah, no financial advice at all. Okay. So we've already kind of talked a little bit about the relationship between Mirror and and Selenium now and Juris. What are there any other projects, any other D apps or whatever on Terra Classic that either there are plans to collaborate with or work together in some way, or is there anything that would make sense to kind of join forces a little bit with Juris Protocol?
Yes, so main candidate would be Selenium, I think, because it just perfectly fits into what Juris does. So with Selenium, you can mint synthetic assets, for example, whatever commodities you like. You can mint stocks, like derivatives of stocks, like basically, obviously you cannot mint a stock, but something that basically trades at the same price of the stock, like a synthetic Apple stock, for example. Then what integration would allow you is that we either open lending pools for the synthetic assets of Selenium, which is also interesting, but I think even more interesting for people is using their synthetic stocks as collateral within Juris. So you can basically deposit your stock portfolio, your derivative stock portfolio from Selenium into Juris and borrow stable coins or crypto against it. So that's the main purpose, the main usage. That's one integration. And the second integration would be with Terraport. That's less of an integration, but more of a synergy thing, because a lending protocol requires on-chain liquid markets so that you can liquidate positions. Because if you liquidate underwater lending positions, you need a DEX pool with sufficient liquidity so that you can sell off the liquidated assets, meaning the collateral assets of the underwater user, basically. So if we don't have sufficient liquidity on Terraport or maybe another DEX, it doesn't really matter, but our partners right now are Terraport for this purpose, then Juris won't work. And without working DEX, we would risk to get into bad debt because we wouldn't be able to liquidate positions. So
Hexagon, right? Hexagon
DEX
is a
and
bit of a partner.
synthetic assets is probably the first integration into dApps.
Yeah. I was mentioning Hexagon, I guess, is also a partner, right, of Juris.
Hexagon is a partner, and Hexagon is a wallet provider and a validator node hosting provider who is also a partner. So our protocol and the token and everything is integrated into their wallet, or will be accessible so that you can use Hexagon wallet to connect to the protocol's web app. And we are planning or talking about further integrations and future projects or partnerships, but I can't discuss any of that in your live stream right now,
All
unfortunately.
right, we'll get to it. I'll push you on it. Now, what about some of the other things though, that are kind of close to home, kind of close to the family? Maybe just an affiliation with. We know that Danny has Neil, right? Um, I notice in your X in your name, I noticed the little broccoli thing at the end, and we saw a broccoli token come out not long ago. Is there any affiliation or any way that you're gonna work with maybe some of these kind of meme coin kind of projects on the chain?
So basically, Broccoli Classic is kind of our pet project right now, our little abandoned child. But we will, like when Juris is a little bit mature, in a couple weeks probably, we're going to focus on the broccoli stuff. And the broccoli stuff is the project that's going to connect us with the other tokens and the other meme projects and all the projects that we cannot connect with through Juris will be connected to Juris team or Juris protocol or the Juris brand through the Broccoli Classic project that I don't want to jinx right now or tease or tell you what it is, but we will collaborate with all of our friends on Terra Classic that want to collaborate with us through that brand.
Yeah. I
So
think
stay tuned.
there was also some mention of some elusive something by Vegas in an X space not long ago. Where you guys were kind of had a little private thing going on about some sort of collaboration, but we don't really have any information on that yet either. I would imagine something like that maybe we'll find out about sometime soon. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, Vegat and I had some talks also with Terraport people and some others, and there is a lot of talks going on actually. Some of the talks, like the recent ones, I didn't tell you about yet, but we can have private DMs about it.
Okay.
But again, I cannot tell anything about it on your live
Okay.
stream. I apologize.
That's fine. It's honestly, it's just good and it's refreshing to know that there are collaborations that are in the works, that people are actually talking about how we can all work together on Terra Classic. I mean, that's something that had been sorely missing for quite a while, and we're seeing more and more of it. Maybe I'm biased, but I think a lot of it really started when Juris came out, because the whole idea was to bring everybody together, and we pushed that really, really hard. So we're seeing that more and more, and we probably owe you a little bit of thanks for it, I feel. But it's really, really good to see. Are there any aspects of the protocol that either now or in the future might require governance approval? Now we know inherently in L2 is kind of autonomous, right? You kind of, you make your own decisions, you do your own things. But is there anywhere that Juris is going to go that you're really going to need the Terra Classic community's approval for, that might see its way into a proposal or anything like that? Is that even possible?
Okay, so to launch the protocol and make it work, I don't think so. Obviously, Frag or Till would have to confirm, but I don't think so. What would need approval is if we were to apply for any sort of funding, be it funding of Juris protocol directly, or whether be it asking for liquidity for pools, which would then be owned by the Terra Classic community. So it would not be funding Juris, it would more be asking the community to lend out some of the lung from the community pool, for example, into the protocol and then earn interest on it back into the community pool. So that could be something that we ask the community for. That would need governance approval.
Now, this was actually a bit of a conversation that was brought up, I think, in another X space by David, who was talking about that very possibility. And it seemed to be something that you really wanted to shy away from as much as possible. But it may come to a point where maybe that's something that could be explored. And I can't personally think of
Maybe
a better
this
way.
maybe this marketing stuff helps because right now asking on money for Terra Classic, even if you're just asking the community to deploy liquidity into a pool that's still owned by them, it seems to cause some sort of outrage and
Yeah.
discussions. And right now, I don't have time and nerves for it. So the way it is right now, we would rather not ask for any sort of funding, help, or whatever from the community or community pool. But maybe I don't know. Maybe it changes in future, and we can actually apply for something that would obviously need a governance vote. But right now, other than that, I could not think of anything that would need governance approval.
Right. So yeah, we'll cross that when we come to it. This is kind of a conversation you and I have had a little bit. And I think you may have even answered this question before, but the question is worded from a community member. Are there more, I'm sorry, there are more stable and possibly profitable chains that could have used Juris Protocol. What is the emotional connection that you have to Terra Classic? And do you consider building there a worthwhile risk? So this person basically thinks that maybe Juris Protocol might have had an easier time somewhere else, possibly. So what was the decision to do it on Terra Classic, um, as opposed to going someplace that's kind of already up and running and more profitable?
Okay, so I would strongly disagree with the idea that just because other chains are bigger or more thriving, uh, at least from the outside perspective, I would strongly disagree with the view that just because they are thriving, we would have had a better time or easier time to launch on a different chain. Because the reality is, we don't have contacts on other chains. We don't have resources. We are short on money.
Yeah.
We had to bootstrap this. We had to be creative in funding, creative in people we work with. You know, like with our partners, contractors, and all the other people. So we just, I think we cannot just go to another chain and say like, oh, you have to do it.
So, something that I've noticed recently, and I actually talked to you and I talked to our front end dev about, is the fact that there are actually other lending, borrowing protocols out there. So this question is kind of about that, and it says, what strategies will Juris employ to drive user adoption and liquidity, especially considering the competitive landscape of decentralized lending protocols, blah, 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 right? So, in other words, there are some other ones out there. How are we going to get a piece of that pie?
In my opinion, one of the downsides of building on Terra Classic is going to be one of our strengths once we launch. That's the knowledge of, you mentioned it already. Everybody knows Anchor. Everybody knows the Luna crash. Everybody knows that a $10 billion lending protocol went to shit. And that's going to be our marketing. When we revive it, when we have a working lending protocol on Terra Classic, and people are going to see that it's worth investing, it's worth using it, that you can actually make money on Terra Classic, people will come back and use the chain. That's the main thing. And then obviously like Frag and I worked, or Till and I worked on some major improvements of the protocol. It's basically not it's not a fork of Anchor. It's completely new protocol. It's rewritten. It's only inspired by Anchor. We added shitloads of features that will make it better than Anchor. And some of the features we added, I think, are not present on other landing protocols yet. So we have some outstanding stuff, I think, that is worth checking it out at least, even if you're a fan of other chains and protocols.
A couple more quick questions, and then we can kind of wrap this up. I thought a very good question that was actually presented was, where do you see Juris Protocol 1 year from now, and where do you see Juris Protocol 5 years from now?
Okay, 1 year from now, Juris Protocol is an established lending protocol, and we will be trading on major CEXs. Hopefully, have at least $10 million TVL, I would think. and user adoption. I want to see users using it. I want us to be mainstream. And in 5 years, I want all of us to be, the community likes Lambos. I like AMGs. So I would like to see them in AMGs, but if they like Lambos, that's also okay for me.
Yeah. In 5 years, I will be in my 60s, getting ready to retire. So I'll probably get myself a nice station wagon. Um,
Of course. I think Till has it still pinned on his profile, retire Trev. I think it's still on his Twitter. Like, I don't want to get fame or something. I want to retire Trev. That's also
yeah,
one
no,
of my
yeah,
goals.
I think he's got that pinned, right? I mean, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love seeing that all the time. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I really can't even say how much I appreciate you because there really aren't words. All right, so my final question. How close are we? And this is basically for the benefit of those who are watching, because obviously I'm in on a lot of these conversations and meetings or whatever. But how close are we? We know that Till is pretty darn close and done with a lot of the stuff that he's doing. Our front end dev is moving along. David has done phenomenal things with all of the graphics and everything, like the things that you see behind you. Everybody's working together really, really well. How close are we to putting this whole damn thing in testnet and getting ready to launch?
The the internal deadline for testnet of the core protocol, like excluding staking and governance, but the main lending protocol stuff, including liquidation and UI, is scheduled for end of June. That's roughly making it into Q2. And our pitch deck says Q3 as launch date for the mainnet, and we try to, as hard as we can, to stick to it. But it will also depend on our auditing partners, on the testing. We can foresee what might be wrong or not. But everything is scheduled for autumn 2025, basically, depending on how things go along. But it's very close. UI is getting there. The backend contracts, I think, are almost done. Like, most of the stuff is in testnet already, accessible through CLI tools by developers. And I think we are very, very close, but I'm hesitant to give any specific dates before we know 100%, because you know how the community is, and rightfully so. When you tell people it's going to happen and it doesn't happen,
People are
it's not
very,
nice for
very,
people.
very excited about this protocol and project. They really are. I mean, the whole team has done an unbelievable job hyping everyone up. Everyone's done a stupendous job with every part of it. And I really want to just mention David again in his work. We've talked about K Rock and how essential she is, but David has just gone above and beyond and put out some unbelievable stuff that I don't think anybody was expecting. This level of professionalism and just how beautiful and unique everything is. What is the name of his company?
Okay, so David's company is Challenge Studio.
Mhm.
I would recommend everybody who wants to have nice branding design, go check it out. David is a great guy, nice partner of Juris. We work together. I think we will work together on future projects. Already talked about it. I can recommend his services to everyone on the chain and outside of the chain as well. Even outside of crypto, he's pretty experienced with everything.
Yeah. David has actually taken it upon himself to build quite a nice little website for Terra Classic. And there are a lot of talks amongst everybody in the dev chat and the L1 chat about how to make this thing even better than it is. And he's taken that, he's done that pro bono and basically just offered it to the community. So this is a good guy to have in your corner. He really is. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, actually, I want to just say thanks to some people. I want to say thank you to my parents, first of all, because they sponsored it. They pushed me to dox myself as well, to take the risk with the protocol, with the company, with the founding, and going full time with this. I want to say thanks to the Juris team, to the crypto community, Luna Classic community, everybody who supports us. Thanks to you, DJ, for doing this with us. Thanks to my camera guy who's chilling on the couch. back there. Guys, he was actually the one who made me dox. He was the one who told me stop being a pussy and show your face to the people.
That's my man back there.
And he's getting a little bit anxious because we're above time.
Yeah, I know it's getting close. So we're gonna leave it there. We'll have plenty of opportunity to do these things again. It's gonna be a lot more fun now that we can actually look at each other and chit chat. And
I agree.
Yeah, thank you very much to everyone who's watching, for everyone who's invested in Juris Protocol. If you're not invested in Juris Protocol, I hope that you saw today how very, very serious these guys are and this project is. And it just has a really, really bright future. You got the opportunity today to spend some time with the two best looking guys on Terra Classic, and we'll be happy to do that for you again. All right, brother, you have yourself a great night. Everybody in the background there, nice meeting everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, ciao.
All right. Thanks, DJ. Talk to you soon.